My first job as a software engineer in Canada paid me $3,000 per month after taxes, while I was paying $2,700 to rent a place to live within an hour commute time to the office. I thought, okay, it's just the start of my career, it will become better pretty quick. 3 years later, I have a six-figure salary, but it all goes to taxes, rent, and food. In this video, I will summarize what I've discovered about salaries in Canada while working for 3 different companies, as well as the cost of life with detailed monthly expenses, and also my thoughts on the balance between those two things. First, salaries. In Canada, junior software engineers with 0 to 3 years of experience earn from 45 to 60K. Intermediate engineers with 1 to 8 years from 60 to 120K, and senior engineers with 3+ years from 90 to 150K. I didn't synchronize the number of years because there is a wide range of how fast people progress in their careers and which company they work for. In my understanding, the chances that I will be able to earn meaningfully more than a median salary, which is 110K for a software engineer in Vancouver, are not very high. I keep getting invitations to apply to senior roles that require many years of experience and pay just a bit over 100K. I have friends who are working as senior devs, have 10 years of experience and earn from 100 to 150. 150 sounds like almost an absolute maximum that I can dream of in Canada 5 years from now.
Junior entry-level engineers get paid 200K. After 3 or 4 years, software engineers are doing 300K or so. By senior, they're doing about 400K. With the sign-on bonus, it was like a 600K income.
Some of you might say, 150? What are you even talking about? It's huge money. Well, wait for the part about the cost of life and my conclusion in the end. The root cause of such a salary cap is so-called wage suppression. Canada brings an excessive number of overqualified immigrants so that the companies do not really need to raise salaries. They always can hire new, well-qualified immigrants instead who are ready to be paid less because they just arrived, they don't understand the true cost of life in Canada yet, they have no choice, they think it's temporary, they think they will earn more in the future, that in reality never comes. Isn't it funny? When I was looking for a way to get into a developed country, I thought that Canadian immigration program makes so much more sense than in the US because it favors education and experience, while the US one is more random. But now I think that the one in the US favors more the US citizens in general, while a Canadian one favors property and business owners. But now when we have the earnings, let's look at what this money can buy. I will be calculating the expenses for someone like me, a family of 2 adults, 2 kids and a dog in Vancouver, but I will also touch the debate about how the cost of life varies for different cities. Let's consider a 100K salary. That's $8,300 per month. $2,500 goes to taxes. The biggest expense is housing. In 2023, I would budget about $3,000 per month for a family for housing in Vancouver greater area. There is a shortage of rental properties here. If there is a good apartment for rent with a realistic price, there will be a competition among 5 or even 10 people easily to get that apartment. Next expense is utilities. Roughly $100 for heating, $100 for home internet, $150 for 2 mobile phones, $50 for electricity, and maybe $100 more for subscriptions like Amazon Prime, iCloud, Netflix, $500 for everything in this category. We spend about $350 per week on food, mostly in Costco, that's $1,400 per month. Just a usual basket of vegetables, chicken, eggs, milk, bread, nothing extraordinary. For a 5-year-old financed car, a monthly payment can be $330, insurance $150. One full tank of gas costs about $100. We also need to service a car twice a year and buy tires maybe once in 3 years. So let's budget $400 monthly for gas and service. And now the main expense that does not allow Canadians to purchase a home of their dream.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription.
We haven't yet calculated any purchases like clothes, furniture, electronics, books, eating out, gifts, travel, education, entertainment, saving, investing. We cannot afford any of that on a 6-figure salary in Vancouver. A very tight budget for basically paying the bills. If there are 2 working adults in a family, maybe there is a chance to afford some of those things. But then potential daycare or after school or, God forbid, a second car will eat a good chunk of that second salary. Now, a lot of people told me in the comments to my previous videos that Vancouver is not Canada. My only problem is that I am in the wrong city and it is very different in other parts of the country. and one of the most popular comments was a suggestion for me to move to Calgary. So I've done some research, even talked to a real estate agent and a mortgage broker from Calgary, and what I've discovered is that yes, sure, housing is cheaper in Calgary, but it's not cheaper to the point of being affordable. You still need to pay around $2,000 to rent an apartment and about $2,500 to rent a house. So maybe you can save up to $10,000 per year on rent in Calgary, but salaries in Calgary are not higher. Levels FYI shows $80,000 as a median salary for software engineers in Calgary and $110,000 for Vancouver. Recruiters from Calgary reached out to me several times and they were proposing roughly a $20,000 pay cut to what I currently have. So those numbers sound about right to me. I can save $10,000 on rent but lose $10,000 to $20,000 in salary. What about owning a house? In Vancouver greater area, owning anything is completely out of question. There is no option to move further to the suburbs and get cheaper housing, as it's a relatively small piece of land bordered by the ocean, the mountains, the US border and farmlands. Wherever you go here, housing is still impossibly expensive. In Calgary though, a house may cost roughly from $450,000 to $600,000, which means that with a 5% down payment, the monthly mortgage payment will be more than $3,000 or at least 50% of what's left from a six-figure salary after taxes. Okay, but we can buy a townhouse in Calgary or Edmonton. It would cost around $380,000, $2,300 per month mortgage and also $400 strata fee, $2,000 property tax per year, and again not less than 50% of a six-figure salary. So, a software engineer working remotely for a shiny Vancouver-based tech company has to pay 50% of the income for a modest townhouse in affordable Calgary. However you turn it, if you make it right, all income would go to taxes, housing and food at best. It's not that Vancouver is unaffordable and Calgary is affordable, it's that Vancouver is just impossible and the rest of Canada is highly unaffordable and overpriced if compared to income. So the only option to make the ends meet is probably to work remotely for a tech company from a large expensive city while living in a really small, least developed, almost a village. And at this point I started thinking of a Canadian immigration program as a government-run scam that aims at partying educated people from all over the world with their life savings and the most productive years of their lives, making them work on low-paying jobs in order to support the housing prices and quality of life for the previous generations of Canadians, because there is nothing else in Canadian economy that can do that. And after these immigrants cannot be squeezed anymore, they are just being thrown away and substituted with new ones, and the cycle repeats. Why I use such a strong word and call it a scam? Well, because potential immigrants are being showed a dream of a prosperous country that best of the best can join, work hard and build their Canadian dream. In the year 2023, it is light years away from reality. I recently realized that when I was taking a decision to move to Canada, I was getting information almost only from those who had a business incentive for new immigrants to move, like real estate agents and immigration advisors, mostly on YouTube and the like. Their information is too skewed to the positive side, and they are very far from being realistic and honest. They came here 15 years ago, built some kind of a small business, bought a couple of properties before the prices skyrocketed. They are very unlikely to work as employees of whatever sort, and they are promoting Canada to regular folks like it is an attractive country to immigrate now. If they were to say the truth, it would be something like, oh, we bought this nice house 10 years ago, it costs 3 times more now while the salaries remain the same, so all the recent immigrants are completely screwed. We've managed to buy a second investment property and that's how we've already retired. Oh, by the way, there is a family of doctors living in our basement. Very nice, hard-working family, it's totally fine. They like the basement, it's a nice one, it even has windows. They pay us just a half, not even more of their income to rent the basement. But these doctors temporarily working at Tim Hortons will be fine. You should come to Canada too, it's a land of opportunity. Look at us, we've made it, so you will make it too. Look, I have nothing against the financial success of these people. If they have it, it's well deserved. I'm just against promoting Canada like nothing has happened in the recent years, and it is the same as it was 10 years ago. And I'm not trashing Canada, by the way, it is still an interesting country. It has its advantages that I described in one of my previous videos. I'm personally much better off here now than in so many worse places in the world, and I still would move to Canada, at least for the passport, knowing what I know now. And there are still chances that I will end up moving to a city like Calgary, but having a more realistic information would have helped me to build a much better strategy from day one, and that is what this video is about. The realistic picture is that 99% of new immigrants are working just to afford paying taxes, rent and food, no matter where they live and where they work, with almost no perspective to own anything or get ahead in a meaningful way. The opportunities that existed here 20 and even 10 years ago do not exist now. They don't exist even for doctors and engineers. I honestly don't understand how the hell do people survive here while having a 50k job, which is an average salary in the country, by the way. Standards of life for new immigrants in Canada are falling off a cliff. There is no housing, no healthcare for new immigrants, even though we are paying taxes in full, extreme wait time for any however simple service, salaries are low, cost of life is high. And these words should start any discussion about immigration to Canada and then repeat it again and again. And when this is crystal clear, we can move on to talking about the advantages. This video is also maybe about demystifying my own myth about Canada. It is just a country among the others with a brutal competition between humans for a very limited number of places under the sun. It's not that Canadians are first world people with houses, healthcare and democratic government day and night thinking about how to improve everyone's lives. It just happened to be a country with no war on its territory, a country with clean air and water, nice people, safe roads and beautiful urban areas, which is already a lot by the standards of today's crazy world. It's just that opportunities are not currently here. I hope that information helps someone. If so, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. It would help me a lot. Thank you for watching.